zero debt. Not because you're disciplined, because nobody's lent you anything yet. You're 19. Your credit file is empty, which sounds safe until you realize empty means invisible. No history means no trust. Trust means access. You have neither. You apply for your first credit card and get denied. Not because you're risky, because you don't exist yet, financially speaking. Your parents co-sign a small student loan so you can start school. $3,000. It feels like nothing. It's about to become the first domino. The first rule, at $0 debt, you're not free, you're just unproven, and the system is about to test you whether you're ready or not. The student loan grew. Books, a laptop for class, a semester you couldn't afford in cash. $8,000 now, all in your name. You get your first real credit card. The limit is $500. You max it out in 6 weeks buying things that don't exist anymore. The minimum payment is $25. You pay it. You feel responsible. You don't realize $25 barely touches the interest, and the balance barely moves no matter what you pay. Your friend warns you about compound interest. You nod. You don't actually understand what he means until months later, when the number goes up instead of down. The second rule. At $8,000, debt doesn't feel dangerous. It feels manageable. That feeling is the trap. The car breaks down. You finance a new one because you have no choice. $18,000 at 11% interest, stretched over 6 years. Your combined payments now eat a third of your paycheck before rent even hits. You open a second credit card to cover a gap month. Then a third quietly, telling yourself it's temporary. You stop opening the mail from lenders. Not because you're avoiding reality, because reading the number doesn't change it, and the not knowing feels lighter than the knowing. The third rule. At $25,000, debt stops being a tool. It becomes a weight you carry without setting down. The number crosses a line most people never admit crossing. Student loans, car loan, 3 credit cards, and now a medical bill you didn't see coming. You start juggling. Pay the card with the highest interest late so the car payment clears on time. Pay the car late 1 month so a credit card doesn't hit its limit. You get a call from a collections agency for the first time. Your hands shake before you even answer. The voice on the other end is calm, scripted, relentless. You don't tell anyone. Not your parents, not your partner. Shame is quieter than debt, but it's heavier. The fourth rule. At $60,000, you're not managing debt anymore. Debt is managing you. 6 figures. A number you used to associate with mortgages, not survival. You consolidate everything into one loan, hoping one number is easier to face than 5. The interest rate is lower. The payoff date is further away than your current age plus 10 years. You calculate once what you'd need to earn to be debt-free in 5 years. The number requires a raise you don't currently see coming. You stop checking your credit score. It's below 600 now. You already know. Seeing the number just confirms what your body already feels every time a bill arrives. The fifth rule. $120,000 doesn't just cost you money. It costs you the ability to plan a future without flinching first. A mortgage joins the pile. Not a mistake, a necessity, a place to live that costs less monthly than renting did. But now the total debt has a comma in a place that used to feel unthinkable. You start losing sleep in a specific physical way, not anxiety in the abstract. Actual insomnia. Staring at a ceiling doing math you already know the answer to. Your relationship strains under it. Money conversations turn into something colder than arguments. A kind of exhausted silence where neither person wants to say the real number out loud. You start selling things. Not because you need the cash immediately, but because owning less feel like control in a situation where you have almost none. The sixth rule. At $200,000, debt stops being a financial problem. It becomes a relationship problem, a sleep problem, an identity problem. The house needed a new roof. The car needed a transmission. A parent got sick and someone had to cover what insurance didn't. None of it was reckless. All of it was necessary. And all of it added up into a number that used to sound like fiction. You do the math on interest alone, what you'll pay over the life of every loan combined if nothing changes. The number is larger than the original debt itself. You close the spreadsheet and don't reopen it for a month. A friend asks how you're doing financially. You say, fine, the way people say it when the alternative is a conversation neither of you has time for. The seventh rule: at $350,000, the debt isn't the crisis anymore. The interest is $500,000 owed. The number sits behind every decision now, quiet but permanent, like a second job you never applied for. You finally sit down and build the plan you avoided for years. Not a fantasy plan, a real one, brutal in its honesty. Which debts to attack first, which to let sit at minimum payments, what to cut, what to sell, what to stop pretending you can afford. You tell your partner the actual number out loud for the first time. It's harder than you expected. It's also the first time in years you feel like you're facing it instead of running from it. Somewhere right now, someone is 19 years old, holding a denied credit card application, thinking that's the worst version of this story. They don't know yet that $0 debt was never the danger. The danger was believing debt was a tool they understood, right up until it stopped being one. You are the same person at every number. The only thing that changed was how long you let the interest run before you looked.